This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Five hop principles lifting us higher, learning without blame, fueling our fire. Together we grow, together we thrive, keeping operational excellence alive.
Welcome to Season 7 and the 138th episode of the podcast show, Hop into Action. I am your host, Brent Sutton. Every week, I am having conversations with good people in organisations that feel overwhelmed about AI, the hype, the pace, its role, the upside, the downside, and the risk that it becomes the next organisational blaming tool. Today, I'm going to walk through a set of ethical and human-centred AI principles, what they mean in practice, and why they align so tightly with human and organisational performance. We'll keep it practical, a little cheeky, and very grounded in one core belief. Workers are the solution, not the problem. Currently, AI is being dropped into workplaces like a new power tool, except it's a power tool that can label people, rank them, predict what is right or wrong, and recommend actions about workers. Done well, AI can help reduce friction, improve coordination, and surface weak signals about how work really happens. Done poorly, it becomes a shiny blame machine, an automated Zoltar of truth-telling, and a soothsayer of corrective actions. And if AI ends up being used to surveil, score, and enforce, it will push people into self-protection, hiding, and workarounds, which means the organisation learns less, not more. So let's get specific. I'm going to introduce the principles, then unpack what they mean when we take seriously the idea that workers are the solution. The ethical and human-centred principles to apply are: 1. Help people succeed at work. 2. Co-design with the people it affects. 3. Learn the system, not watch the person. 4. Human judgment stays central. 5. Turn insights into better work. Let us start with the principle, help people succeed at work. This principle is the first filter. The simplest question you can ask any AI proposal is, does this help people succeed at work? And succeed doesn't mean meet a metric. It means doing quality work, doing it safely, coordinating well, reducing the need for trade-offs, and strengthening systems. The principle also gives a bright line warning. If the primary value is surveillance, rank, detect, determine, enforce, it's not human-centered. Let me translate that into everyday workplace language. If the AI is mainly there to catch people out, you've already lost the ethical game, and you'll lose the improvement game too. Workers are the solution means we don't start by asking, who's not complying? We start by asking, what is making it hard to do this job well today? The next principle is co-design with the people it affects. This one is big. Ethical use means how workers participate in shaping what's collected, how it's interpreted, and how it changes work. Co-design isn't a workshop where you show people the finished product and ask, thoughts? Co-design means workers help answer questions like, what data is collected and what shouldn't be? What does the signal actually mean and work is done? What are the likely false alarms? What could be misread without context? How could this be gamed, and what does that tell us? The principle also says people deserve clarity and agency. What data is used, why, how long it's kept, and how decisions are made. Now here's the workers are the solution link. Workers carry tacit knowledge. the practical know-how of how the system behaves in real life. If you don't co-design with that knowledge, you build AI that confidently misunderstands the job, and nothing is more dangerous than confidence without context. Here is an example. Imagine an AI flags unusual delays at a dispatch desk. The dashboard glows red. Leaders lean into the problem, but the workers know the supplier changed packaging again, the labels won't scan, and the workaround requires 3 extra steps. Without that context, the AI story becomes people are slow. With that context, the story becomes the system changed and we didn't adapt capacity. That's co-design, that's dignity, that's ethics. The next principle is learn the system, not watch the person. This principle is pure gold. It says ethical, human-centered AI focuses on system conditions and how work is done every day, work demands, system capacity and sensitivity, tool reliability, safeguards, learning capacity, and psychological safety. And then, this is the mic drop. It warns. If AI increases fear, self-protection, or hiding, it will reduce learning and impact work. So here's the distinction. Watching the person produces compliance theatre. Learning the system produces improvement. If you want the organisation to learn, the AI must point toward conditions, not character. Because when we treat people as the problem, we get retraining as the default fix, more rules, more policing, more paperwork, and less truth. But when we treat workers as the solution, we ask, what's driving the trade-offs? What are the competing goals? Where is the system brittle? Where are the controls weak? Where are handoffs failing? What's creating time pressure and rework? Here's a practical way to build this into AI design. Instead of who failed to follow the process, design prompts like, what conditions made this step hard today? What changed in the last week that increased demand? Where did the tool, workflow, or information not match the task? That's how AI becomes a learning partner, not a digital supervisor.
We are taking a break to share a message with you. Maybe you've heard the promises of AI and wondered, can I trust it with safety, with quality, with my data? I get it. So let me show you a real example. With Plod.ai Note-Taker and Hop Copilot's field-based work insights, you can capture what's happening on the ground, worker conversations, the everyday doesn't make sense, dangerous, difficult, and different moments. These aren't polished reports. They're real voices, real insights. For instance, a team doing shift handover uses a Plod Note device. The note-taker agent listens in, captures the conversations, transcribes them, and then summarizes them under the 4 Ds and 4 Ls framework. It might pick up that someone said, "We didn't have enough lighting in the stairwell. We tripped over hose reels. The emergency latch isn't clear." Those get categorized. Dumb, dangerous, difficult, different. Learnings and potential improvements are surfaced. And yes, while this is AI-powered, human judgment remains central. You review, you validate, you decide. Ethical AI designed so people are always in control. On top of that, Hop Copilot agents run on Microsoft 365 Copilot, which keeps your data secure. User prompts and responses are protected. None of your internal data is used to train public models. So, for those skeptical of AI, wondering if it's hype or risk, this one turns voice into value. If you care about safety, clarity, and learning, Hop Copilot with Plod agents gives you tools like the Learning from Work Insights agent, critical control insights, work design, and error trap analysis. Here's what you can do. Visit hopcopilot.com. Explore the Plod Note-Taker agents, try the free version of the Event Learning Storyboard, or book a chat with us about bringing the full suite into your team. Let's build safer, smarter work together, where AI serves humans, not the other way around. Now back to the podcast.
The next principle is human judgment stays central. This principle says AI should be an assistant offering insights, patterns, and prompts, supporting understanding and curiosity, but people retain authority to interpret context and challenge outputs. And it names a real risk, automation bias, when humans start trusting the machine because it looks certain, not because it's correct. So human judgment stays central means AI can suggest, but it cannot decide consequences for people. AI can surface signals, but it can't replace local knowledge. AI can accelerate learning, but it must not short-circuit inquiry. Now, let's connect it to the phrase, workers are the solution, not the problem. If human judgment stays central, then worker judgment must stay central too, not just management judgment, because the person closest to the work often has the best picture of what's normal, what's degraded, what's changing, and what's risky right now. The final principle is turn insight into better work. This final principle ties it all together. It says the ethical payoff isn't detection. It's making complexity more visible, supporting system improvement, and building knowledge from leaders to the front line. And it says AI should feed learning cycles, identify friction, test changes, strengthen controls, and check whether things genuinely improve work. This is where many organizations fail. They build dashboards that spot problems, but they don't build pathways that improve conditions. So the ethical question becomes, what happens after the insight? Does the insight lead to better tools, better staffing, better planning, clearer priorities, better engineering controls, better communication, coordination, and cooperation? Or does it lead to have a talk with that worker, remind them of the procedure, disciplinary pathways, and tighten compliance? If it's the second one, your AI is just a faster route to blame. If it's the first one, your AI becomes a force multiplier for learning. So let's land this with HOP. HOP reminds us that people do not come to work to fail. Errors are a symptom of system conditions, trade-offs, and complex work. Learning requires psychological safety, being curious in your response to what you hear, see, and do matters. And finally, improvement comes from understanding work is done. These AI principles align beautifully with that worldview. Help people succeed at work matches HOP's focus on enabling performance, not punishing outcomes. Co-design with the people it affects matches the idea that expertise lives in the system, and especially with the people doing the work. Learn the system, not watch the person, is basically HOP in one sentence. Human judgment stays central, protects against automation bias, and keeps accountability where it belongs, inside human sense-making. Turn insight into better work forces the real ethical test. Does the AI create capacity and capability, or does it create compliance pressure? And here's the big finish. If we believe workers are the solution, then ethical AI is not a tool for control. It's a tool for curiosity, a tool for learning, a tool for making the system easier to run, especially on messy days when real work doesn't match the neat boxes. So next time someone says, we could use AI to monitor this, try this friendly reframe. How about we use AI to understand what makes this hard, and then improve the conditions so people can succeed? That's ethical, That's human-centered. That's Hop and AI working together. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey with Hop into Action. I've loved sharing stories, ideas, and practical ways to do safety differently with you. Your support and curiosity are what make this community so strong, and I want to thank you for being part of it. If you're ready to keep building capability, capacity, and resilience, I'd encourage you to check out the Hop Beginner's Guide series on Amazon. Each volume is short, practical, and packed with insights, and the book series is designed for busy people who want real impact, not theory. This isn't the end of the conversation, just the next step in your journey. So thank you again for listening, for learning, for supporting better work. Until next time, remember, small changes, shared stories, and thoughtful practice lead to big results with HOP, learning teams, and the 4Ds.